Welcome. We're back. We're back, and James's surgery was a success. So happy to report that.
Feeling good.
Feeling good.
Feeling really, really good.
So nice. Welcome in. I was meant to be live with dear Lisa Oliveira today. We will be talking about her book for sure. Her daughter is now home, so she couldn't make it with me. So I decided to recruit James. And I have 4 books that we're going to talk about. Lisa Oliveira's book, dear Cynthia Keir's book, one of my heart teachers, Stephen Jenkinson's book, and Nadia Narain's book with her sister Katya. They all relate to each other in a really cool way. And with 2 kind of other books that I'll mention, but we're going to talk about them in more depth another time. But You Look Fine and Women in Love with the Divine. Okay? So these 2 are coming another day, but we're going to mention them. Okay. It's hard to know where to start because they all relate to each other. When the Ache Remains, I'm going to start with the some of the blurbs that have been written by dear colleagues of mine, friends. Sarah Blondin wrote, Lisa is saying what we all need to hear and remember again and again. There's nothing wrong with our ache. This book offers the rare comfort of knowing nothing in us needs fixing. She makes the hardest parts of being human feel tenderly approachable. And this book, Sarah writes, is a generous companion for anyone learning how to stay with themselves through it all, discovering a gentler way of being with what is. So beautiful. And I think importantly, too, I'm just going to cross-reference as we go. Darlene Cohen was a Zen teacher. She died in 2011. And she taught about living with chronic pain. Another note about Amy Kurtz's book, What You Look Fine, is also showing us the importance of recognizing how we feel and ignoring people that say, well, you look okay, so there must be nothing wrong. I want to dip into a little more about Lisa's genius. I've pulled a couple of readings from her. Let's say you're feeling an ache, some kind of pain, and we will be sitting today. But let's say you are feeling pain. I am just back from Colorado where I was working, and even in Canada where I was also working, and we were surrounded by fires on all sides. We were, by some miracle, not affected where we were, but it was just a few miles away on both sides. And we went and visited Rosemary Watola Trommer, who's also here on Substack. She writes a poem a day. She's just incredible. We went to her for lunch. And James, being who he is, was very connected to her son that she lost some years ago. And suddenly he was asking James, I guess James was like, oh, let's go to the river. Let's go over to the river. And right in Rosemary's backyard, there's a beautiful river, the San Miguel River. And we went and sat in the river and to find out that
It's like, let's throw some stones in the river for the young man who's not here. And Rosemary said that was what he did. That was what he loved to do. It was so strange. I just kept sitting quietly in the moment and trusting the moment and finding out that everything I was encountering were things that were true to him. It showed me that it's okay just to trust a feeling and say what needs to be said. And so often it lands. I surprised myself with a lot of the things that were said.
Lisa writes a poem on page 40, Take It to the River. When you aren't sure where to put your pain, take it to nature. Toss it into a river like rocks. Give it over to the water like a prayer. Let the wind move it, reshape it, carry it. Imagine carrying your pain to the very top of a mountain and letting it look out onto the landscape, letting it absorb how much else exists alongside it, giving it a whole new perspective. There's a lot more in this poem, but I wanted you to have a taste of it without giving it all away. When the Ache Remains, this book, if you are suffering or struggling in any way, this is an important book for you. This is going to be staying close to me for a long time. And I'll come back to her poem, Sanctuary and Everything, when we start sitting. Introducing you to Darlene Cohen, Cynthia Kier's teacher.
Mm,
You know Cynthia Riotan?
I do.
She's a teacher at San Francisco Zen Center. What a teacher. Dr. Paula Arai writes in this blurb, what a teacher. Fueled by honesty, courage, and everyday matters, we are treated with insights into how Zen teacher Darlene Cohen perceives the mundane world in its shimmering suchness.
Mm.
Having received Dharma transmission from Darlene, Cynthia Kier, who's the bringer of this book, ushers us into her teacher's world of fully engaging in the practice of life. Inviting teacher-student relations, inviting us into the intimate and transformative dynamics of Zen student-teacher relations. She shares Darlene's refreshing teachings, including how money, gossip, sex, and smoking are keen teachers. Penetrate the poisons of delusion, greed, and hatred. Dance with what is. Gratitude in chronic pain. Grace in motion and stillness. Such jewels of wisdom await the reader. Alive for it all. This is by Cynthia Kier, for her teacher, Darlene Cohen. And I thought I would add a couple of things here. Speaking of the word gratitude, I'm going to pause on Darlene and move over to Stephen Jenkins. And I'm going to read my blurb for this book, because I had the great honor of blurbing this book. Trembling Still, Stephen Jenkinson, author of Die Wise, Come of Age, so many books, such a teacher to so many people I love, has been diagnosed with Parkinson's. And this was his foray into writing as the diagnosis came upon his family. A rare, real-time chronicle of receiving and reckoning with a neurodegenerative diagnosis. Trembling Still is a study in how to remain awake, accountable, and alive while the ground shifts. This book steadies us in this life, reminding us to tend without turning away. I'm on page 148. This is a journal entry from September 16th of 2024 that Stephen wrote about gratitude. 2 afternoons at the dead Starling studio, 2 afternoons of what's left to me. Listening to our songs, the ones born 15 months ago in Malibu and then set aside as life blew through. Was opening a vault, dust mites dancing in the shafts of light, no waft of time and love gone by. The audio of old skills, devotions of an agile monk, not yet bent by the damp of the cell, chanted on down the ages in my voice. I was thrilled by it, stilled by it. He was listening to his old recordings. I was once that guy. I was taken up out of the shadows by gratitude. So I began to wonder on gratitude. And the wonder said, gratitude isn't a cancellation of debt or a forgiving. Gratitude isn't a penance. It's not settling oversight, although it may come to that. Here's where it gets good. Gratitude disturbs the ledger. It blurs, dims the accounts. It loses its origins. Gratitude upheaves in its chemicals, scalds the crucible as it scalds the chalice. It defects merit very suddenly. It is innumerate. It is beautiful trouble. Gratitude is doused and dosed in grief. That particular hurt that rises from understanding the blessing of limit, of not now, of too late, the letting of blood. Gratitude is durable and doable and palpable. It does its work post facto after the flood.
You read that so beautifully.
Ugh, I
Wow.
just love his work so
Me
much.
too. I love that guy.
Anyone in your life is working with a diagnosis, a neurological diagnosis of any um, depth, please get this book, Trembling Still.
His YouTube videos are also really good. If you want to check him out,
Yeah.
the way he speaks is, he's an elder. He's definitely an elder. I had
Yes.
the pleasure of running into him in an airport one time.
Such a good story. I
and
wasn't there.
and I said, "Are you Stephen Jenkinson?" And he said, "I might be." And I said, "Would you be open to me giving you a hug?" And he relented, and I gave him a big hug, and I had a little teary eyes, and I said, "You know, your work really matters. The work you're doing in the world makes a difference, and you've made a difference in my life." And I could tell he was really touched. And then he gave a speech. He was coming to Santa Fe. He gave a speech that night,
He did like a spoken
like
word talk.
a town hall
Yeah.
thing,
We weren't there.
because we were in the airport.
We were away. And two of our best friends were there.
And apparently, yeah, he said there was some young man who came up and met me in the airport and gave me a hug, and he was so close I could smell his cologne. And he said that he felt that his mother would be proud that he had people coming up to him in the airport giving him hugs. But it was nice to make an impression and to tell him how meaningful his work has been. He's worked with indigenous people a lot. He's always very close to death. He understands death, the seasons of living, the seasons of just how it's okay to die. And now he's facing that, he's come face to face with that, and it's time for him to really talk about his own experience.
Yeah.
But a truly brilliant man. I would highly recommend his work.
And a master's in theology from Harvard. As mentioned before, he's the author of Come of Age, Die Wise, Money and the Soul's Desires, A Generation's Worth, Reckoning, which he co wrote with Kimberly Johnson, one of my dear friends, and Matrimony most recently. Really interesting exploration of what it means, matrimony, and how it doesn't mean what we necessarily think it means. Glimmers, I want to talk about from Nadia and Katya. They're two dear friends, sisters, dear friends. Nadia has been one of my closest friends for, gosh, 2 decades plus, I think. This is a gentle guide toward recognizing the ways in which our nervous system tends to turn away in fear in many situations, and how we can actually begin to apprehend the glimmers in our lives, the glimmers of light, the glimmers of hope, the glimmers of happiness, even amidst the sadness that we, are working with, or the difficulty that we're working with. And I've folded a few pages here that I wanted to share with you. Studies have demonstrated again and again. This is page 3 of Glimmers. Studies have demonstrated again and again that small daily glimmers, those tiny moments in which we feel present, connected, and safe, bring us more sustained happiness than any of these supposedly big and life-changing events. And the good thing is, you can learn to train your nervous system to have greater capacity and resilience, just as you train your muscles in the gym to get stronger. Learning to look out for the glimmers and calm your nervous system is like setting your internal GPS to keep you going in the direction of safety, of relaxation, and spaciousness. Really good wisdom in here. And a little bit about Nadia and Katya and how they sort of came to this work. And both of them are coming at it from different angles. There's a beautiful bit about the ventral vagal, this sort of nervous system understanding of how we assess in any given situation, particularly strange and even in crowds, how our nervous system goes into a state where we're constantly assessing and super vigilant, and it's so draining on us. This nervous system sort of fight, flight, freeze, fawn, all of these reactions are what we're learning how to mitigate here in this beautiful book that gives us just so many options and ideas of how to do so. I'm on page 78 here in Glimmers, and the sisters are talking about reparenting yourself. And I think this is an important flag that I put for myself to read and reread over and over again. Young children are a fascinating case study. This is page 78. Young children are a fascinating case study in emotional regulation. They feel everything intensely and express it openly. They can't regulate their own nervous systems. They rely on calm adults to help them regulate by rocking and soothing, comforting words, hugs, affection. We were just listening yesterday to a really important episode of the telepathy tapes on our way home, where we learned that children who are neurodivergent are actually depending on the state of their parents to help them regulate. And not just that their parent seems calm or is saying that they're calm, but that their parent actually is practicing being calm and honest about their struggle with being calm. And this is, wow. If you haven't listened to the telepathy tapes, pardon the barrage of resources today, but I'm telling you, you won't be sorry. As adults, we may have learned to moderate our reactions in public, but the internal roller coaster remains. If you were lucky enough to grow up with a supportive parent or carer, you'll have been given some great tools for dealing with your emotions, and you will have felt that it was safe to express your anger, your hurt, your annoyance, your excitement. Again, we're in Glimmers right now. Without someone constantly telling you to quieten down or stop crying. And the glimmer that they're suggesting is to catch when you receive a nice note or an email or a gesture from someone who is making an effort toward you. What a beautiful thing to apprehend. And I thought it would be interesting to talk about co-regulation, because you might be living alone, but maybe you have a dear friend or a pet or a plant or a walk in nature, a path that you love. And co-regulation is one of the most important ways that we can work with each other to help our nervous systems gentle themselves, how to tenderize ourselves. We're co-regulating right now here, virtually. Not just me and James, but all of us,
For sure.
And just by sharing information, sharing inspiration, we're co-regulating here as well. Anything you want to add to that before I move on?
Be careful who you're around, because people can dysregulate you as well as co-regulate you. So be sure that there's an energetic match for who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
And as for self-parenting, don't be afraid to cut ties if it doesn't help you, if somebody isn't on your team, or if you just don't feel great around them. How would a parent behave in that situation? Hopefully they would tell you to get away. And don't hesitate to do that.
Nice. Reparenting yourself. Wow.
Taking the job that wasn't done and doing it again.
Yep.
Or just improving upon what was done well.
Yeah. I pulled one of the haiku from Rosemary's book, Even Now. She did this book with her friend Jill Sabella. And they sort of did half the book with the haiku first and then the art, and half the book with the art and then the haiku. And this one I think is really appropriate for us. We're going to move toward meditation. This wound, reteaching my tongue to name it blessing. Wow. This wound, reteaching my tongue to name it blessing. Speaking of reparenting ourselves.
Wow.
I know.
There are so many resources here.
I know.
I think the audience is getting sort of a view into your mind and how eclectic and big and wondrous it is.
I'm opening up to page 49 of Alive for It All. Cynthia Keir, page 49. Middle paragraph. Most importantly, I learned from my study of Zen to be less attached to things. This is an important aspect of healing yourself as well. Diminishing your clinging to something that was before but is no longer. It is very difficult for us to have a strong functional body displaced by a painful and helpless one.
Mm.
It shakes us to our very identity. In order to heal, people in this situation have to give up their past, to grieve for their former bodies, and then turn away to learn to see their present bodies as real and their current lives as demanding all the creativity and energy they can summon. Okay, so this is whether you're in a physiological pain or in an emotional pain right now. I really appreciate this passage so much. I flagged it when I first read the book, and now I'm flagging it for myself again. In order to heal, we have to give up our past. We have to grieve for what was, and then turn away from what was to see the present as real and this current life as demanding all the creativity and energy we can summon. I'm just seeing your note, Maya. Honestly, I'm a little bit jealous that you got to be with her at all.
Mm.
Maya Dewar here on Substack, ladies and gentlemen. You best check her out. She's there in the chat. Here's a quote from Darlene, and then we'll turn toward Lisa's poem, and then we'll sit together just for a few minutes. This is on page 16 of Alive for It All. Beautiful pictures in here, too. We're embedded in a universe so alive and so dynamic. We actually need tremendous stability and extraordinary energy to meet it. Please settle into the wisdom of the body and act from it forever.
That's a beautiful quote.
And this is why this is why I have fallen in love with the practice of Zen. Settle into the wisdom of this body.
That's big. It implies that you have all the answers.
Mm-hmm.
It implies that it's all right there.
Yeah.
Don't distract. Settle.
Yeah. All right. So the two other books that I wanted to mention before I sit with Lisa's poetry, Wisdom in Women in Love with the Divine. Pardon. This is an important one, and I'm going to be talking about this with the author soon. And Amy Kurtz as well, very, very dear friend. She and I will be talking about this book here on Substack soon as well. It's important. If you've had any sort of chronic illness or diagnosis, and somebody has said these words to you, this is going to be good for you.
Also, if you're undiagnosed, so many people aren't well, and the medical system can't really determine why. People tend to think, oh, you're not, there's nothing wrong with you. There can be a lot wrong with you. It's just that maybe science hasn't yet caught up to exactly what it is. But yeah, Amy's struggled and finally feels good. And it's nice to have a sort of memoir from her of coming out the other side.
Yeah. Beautiful. She'll be here soon with me on Substack. Okay, here we go. And I have two writing prompts that I shared in my subscribers chat. For those of you who are supporting subscribers, I want you to know, usually this is just for supporting subscribers on a month-to-month basis. I wanted to make it public because I wanted you to meet Lisa. But in the absence of Lisa, we got to meet her work and a few others. And I think this is a wonderful wonderful solve. Anikara, good for you. I'm so happy to see you. Okay. We're going to read one of Lisa's poems on page 102 of When the Ache Remains. Sorry to keep covering your face. I'll cover my eyes.
It's okay. I don't mind.
It's just the best way to show the book. It's called Sanctuary in Everything. I think it's a wonderful way to bring us into some silence. We've been here for 25 minutes, a little longer than I expected. I'll read this poem and I will read it. It sort of goes along with Glimmers too. I'm going to read it only once. I'll read the final paragraph twice and then we'll sit.
And
Okay?
there was just one thing I want to add, maybe at the end of what I've noticed in everything that you've pulled together here. So maybe at the end I do that.
As you wish. You want to do it now or later?
Sure. I've just been noticing how there's a thread through all of this material, which is the good and the bad. You have to take it all. Good and bad is even such a dualistic way of thinking about things. It's really not good or bad. It's just all the same thing. Hardship, pain, it's all part of life. And life is a big continuum, and the labels that you put on it affect how you process it. And there's an expression that I like, which is that it's two ends of the same stick. You can be looking at one side or the other side and think, this is, let's just say good, this is, let's say bad. It's all your life and it's all the same thing. And be careful how you label it, or don't cling so hard to the labels. How does all that end?
It's very zen.
It is very zen. When I was recuperating, I had a Zen priest care for me for like 5 days, and we just talked, and it was quite nice. But that was one of the things I got, is that it's all shades of gray of the same palette, and don't get too hung up on, this hurts and this is joyful, because it's all one thing, and the whole thing is life, and you can't separate one from the other.
Mm.
And if you ever really get stuck, just read some Pema Chodron, read When Things Fall Apart. She describes it so much better than I ever could.
Yet an eighth book.
Oh, that's a book.
An eighth book. I will include all the links here to Bookshop. And Bookshop is a great way to support independent and local booksellers. Okay. Sanctuary and Everything. When the ache remains. There we go. Lisa will be here soon. I look forward to being with you, Lisa. Page 102. What if there is sanctuary in everything? Refuge found in a loving conversation, in the choice to make tea, a haven in a book, a held hand, leftovers in the fridge, nourishment in a lit candle, fresh sheets, a slow walk. What if there is sanctuary in everything? The bird has wisdom in its song, the trees in their leaves. There might be a resting place even sitting in traffic if you let your mind wander to where it needs to go. You can feel everything in one thing if you seek it.
Ah, okay.
What if there is sanctuary in everything? Could a sunset be a mirror of endless beginnings? Could a forest ensure your inherent connection to all? Could a snail's perfect shell remind you it's possible to have your own back without needing to hide? What if there is sanctuary in everything? Your grief might be the most intelligent part of you. Your longing might be an embodied knowing. Your sorrow might signal your depth, your heart. Your wound might contain your most potent medicine. What if there is sanctuary in everything? A soft heart to rest in, listen to, savor. Relaxed shoulders know. Relaxed shoulders that know they needn't hold it all. A slowed breath, steadying your body's rhythm. Wiggling fingers, wiggling toes, reminders of here-ness. What if there's sanctuary in everything? The outreached hand you're learning to grab onto. The extra hour of sleep you're learning to savor. Oh God, that's me. The stars you're learning to look to. The friend you're learning to be truly seen by. What if there is sanctuary in everything? A stranger's smile, an unexpected letter, the garden's impossibly beautiful hues, the perfect bagel, the bench in the shade, rain after drought, dryness after downpour? What if there is sanctuary in everything? Can you keep your eyes open for it? Can you let yourself notice it everywhere? Can you allow it to permeate your hurt, your heart? Can you let it be an anchor to stay tethered to?
Wow. Oh, I have other things I want to talk about. Okay.
I'll reread the last paragraph.
I want to talk about the blind yoga teacher.
You can talk about Luke. Yes, go ahead.
We met a blind yoga teacher. We were at hot springs, and we met a blind yoga teacher who gave really beautiful cues that were sort of the sonic resonances of the visual that he didn't have. And he was living a full life on a few acres of land. And I just thought about, wow, sort of stripping it all away. And he had an awesome woman and beautiful man, beautiful movement. And he's living within the confines of a couple of acres, yet experiencing the whole world through nature, sound, everything but visual. I tend to live my life visually. And I just thought about how beautiful it was to strip away and to have so much with something that we would think is so little. Anything you want to add to that?
I'm going to reread the last paragraph because that was perfect.
Okay.
What if there is sanctuary in everything? How funny.
Mm,
Can you keep your eyes open for it?
wow.
I'm going to change that for the visually impaired. Can you keep your senses open for it?
Or can you remain open to it?
Yeah, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Can you let yourself notice it everywhere? Can you allow it to permeate your hurt, your heart? Can you let it be an anchor to stay tethered to?
Mm.
Sanctuary in everything. One of the first places I taught yoga was called Soho Sanctuary.
Mm.
Still such an important place to me. Let's sit, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Let's sit and sit for a few minutes together. We have to figure out how to get you into the light too. There we go.
Oh, that's all right.
Okay. I have our time.
That was really fun. Thanks for including me.
Of course. Are you cool to sit with us?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do it.
Great. Remember,
I have a lifetime of bad back, bad habits, so I'm working on shifting that.
now that his back is fixed, he can actually sit up straight
There's no excuse.
and he forgets that he's fixed. Like
Yeah.
that his back is better.
It's so weird. I keep reaching for the pain like an old friend. It's really strange.
That's actually the biggest teaching of this whole thing.
Mm.
Right there.
Mm.
I keep reaching for the pain like an old friend.
Mm.
Oof. Wow. What if there is sanctuary in everything? Let's sit tall. Feel the length of your spine all the way up through your crown. Feel your shoulders relaxing and all of your energy kind of gently settling downward. Except for your heart, which lifts and opens. And except for your gentlest attention, which rests on the senses, the doorways, allowing yourself to feel and hear and experience what is happening externally, but in an equal measure, what is happening internally. And you can keep your eyes closed or open, whatever suits you best for today. Feeling the depth of your breath, the sanctuary of whatever ache you're working with right now. The stillness that we're sharing here, such a gift. And we'll take just a handful more minutes here together in the quiet. Whatever sounds or circumstances are surrounding you now, that too is sanctuary. final minute here. And take a nice deep breath in and exhale. You can bring your hands into Gasho if you'd like. Let's dedicate the merit of our time together in learning and in practice to all beings, to all the teachers, past, present, future, seen, unseen. Thank you for your practice.
Thank you. Thanks, Elena.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Mm,
Thanks
love
for
it.
coming with me. I love you too.
That was fun.
Me too. Anything else that you wanted to add? You said that you had a few things.
It would take too long.
You would.
Some other time.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm seeing so many friends here. Please feel free to, I'll have this posted by the end of the day. Feel free to watch the beginning. And I'll review the books that we talked about. Lisa Oliveira, When the Ache Remains. Cynthia Keir, Alive for It All. Trembling Still, Stephen Jenkinson. Glimmers, Nadia and Katya Narain. But You Look Fine, Amy Kurtz. Women in Love with the Divine, Erica Bassani. And finally, Even Now, Rosemary Watola Trauma and Jill Sabella. All treasures. The treasures of life, as far as I'm concerned, are the books. These are the treasures of life. Read. Your reading, your choice to read and savor your books is a revolution. Now, hang up this live and go read.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much.